the idea of the whole village being alive the way I wanted it to, it's actually working. Hello everyone, it's me. I am finally back with another episode from the Let's Play. It's been absolute ages since I posted an episode from the Let's Play world, so I hope you guys are still here and are still as excited as I am to go ahead with this world. I hope you didn't think that I abandoned this. I definitely didn't. I was just doing a lot of other things. I didn't really have not necessarily the time, but I wanted to put more effort into the other things that I was making. But now I am finally back and I am hoping that I'll be able to post more episodes more often and with much more progress of what's happening around the world. I am planning to do a world tour once we hit 1,000 days over in this Let's Play world. And that's getting fairly close right now. But I do want to finish up a few areas and actually make it look nice for the tour. And I do want to work on this episode as well. So hopefully by the time this episode will be finished, we have hit 1,000 days. I'm gonna finish everything that I want to finish and we're gonna have a really nice world tour. In the meantime, let me show you what I've been up to in the past couple of days. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really played on the world since I took the break. And I've only been doing this in the past week or two maybe. And I did a good bit of progress working on the next village, which is going to be the Mason village. If you are following my live streams, I kind of did a few sneak peeks over there if you guys are interested to check me out. And yeah, let's get started with what I want to show you guys. So like I said, while I was kind of working around here, I designed this path over here. This is basically going to be taking us over to the village, which is the Mason village. It's not much right now because it's just a path. Even though it's simple, I do really like it. But I feel like it needs something on the sides, so I do plan to build some kind of custom trees around here. I then stopped over here at the crossroads. I want to put a sign over here that points that this is going to be the Mason village. Then I extended the path pretty much over at the village. I still have to do the sides. I haven't done that, but that's not as important over here until I finish the village itself. And then I actually enclosed this whole village. If we go into camera mode, you'll see the whole fence. So there's going to be a building over here on top of this mountain. Then there's going to be a bridge connecting this to this. Another big building over here. And then a staircase down into this main area where the main kind of stonemasons are going to be hanging out. So I do want to have this as interactive as possible, same as the village over here. So I'm thinking to probably put like a bell and make a small town hall over here, or maybe put the bell here and then have the village cross the village and then go over down in this area, or maybe put the bell over here and then they're gonna have to travel all across when they actually want to gather. So I haven't figured that one out, but by the end of this episode, I'm sure you guys will find out how exactly this is going to look like. So to start things off, I decided to go with the bridge first. And because I want to have the villagers enclosed and not be able to get out of this area that I kind of mapped out, I decided to go with a straight bridge. I'm gonna add some walls over here to the sides so they won't be able to walk off the bridge in case they push themselves or anything like that. And then down below, I'm gonna add some pillars that support this bridge. So it's gonna be a rather simple bridge, but I decided to go with a straight one and to go with the stone variant just because they are masons, so they develop the ability to, you know, work with stone and develop buildings with stone and stuff like that. So I decided that that seems a bit more fitting. The second part of the bridge is going to be looking something like this. I wanted to go with cobblestone here, but it kind of felt a bit too noisy and I feel like the tough walls go a bit better with the whole aesthetic here. Then I added the smooth stone slabs over at the top just so the villagers can jump over. And now the next step is going to be to make the pillars that are actually supporting the whole bridge. And with a bit of editing magic, everything is done. To give you a better idea, that's me on the bridge. I decided to not go with huge pillars and instead make a pretty nice arch here connecting to each side of the hill, let's call it, because it's definitely not a mountain. I tried to use a few slabs and a few stairs to make it look pretty nice. I added some cracked stone bricks to give it a bit of texture, and then I added the tough bricks in areas that I feel like are a bit more shaded, right? So it kind of gives a bit more depth. I added a few here, a few there, a few here. If I go underneath the bridge, It's pretty much the same kind of story down below here. So there are a few naturally cast shadows, so I kind of try to follow that same kind of pattern. So see, there's a few here, a few there. They're actually really hard to spot from certain angles because there is an actual shadow, but I feel like I really like the way this looks like. If you guys have any kind of ideas that would help me improve this bridge, just let me know down in the comments and I'll make sure to have a look and implement them over here. One thing that I definitely need to do is to add some lighting over here on the bridge, because right now mobs can definitely spawn over here and we don't want that to happen when the village is going to be fully populated. So I need to see if I can sneak in some kind of lighting over here. I think it's only the middle of the bridge that's the issue, because I do have the lanterns over on the edges. So in theory it shouldn't be that complicated, so maybe if I put just some torches on the side of the bridge or something like that, but I'm gonna have to figure out a solution that works and doesn't make the bridge look too ugly. And the solution was actually much simpler than I thought. I just added 2 lanterns over here. It kind of adds a bit of lighting underneath the bridge to make it more visible, which I feel like it kind of works fairly nice, and that actually adds enough light on top of the bridge for the mobs not to spawn. So I feel like as a general idea for a nice stone bridge, it's a pretty good build right now. So for the first area, which is the smallest and the one that I decided that I want the bell to be in, so the villagers will go from all the way down there, come around on top of the bridge and come over to the bell. I am hoping that the distance is small enough for them to track the bell from all the way down there, which I believe it is. If not, then I'm just gonna have to figure out a different way to make this work, because I do want them to travel back and forth because it makes it a bit more animated this way. So for the area, I decided to just build a bit of a small kind of, not necessarily well, but some kind of small station thing. I'm not really sure how I wanted to even call it, but it's basically gonna be holding the bell, and that's where all the villagers are gonna gather. And without fully knowing how to call this is what I came up with. Let's call it a Zen garden. So I added some bamboo, some flowers, some grass over here. I don't know exactly what this is, but I just felt like it fits in here. They can get closer to the bell, so hopefully that's gonna help them track from all the way down there. The whole area is enclosed, fully lit up. Added some lights here just in case. There's some mobs spawning around, but I'm not too concerned. I'm kind of happy how it turned out, and I really hope that the villagers will be able to track the bell all the way up here. And it's not just going to be a decorative thing, even though technically it doesn't really serve a purpose and it's more like decoration, but I do want it functional just for the villagers to actually walk around. And with the aesthetic building out of the way, I think it's time to build something that's actually going to be used pretty often by the villagers. And I know you've seen this on the short time lapse, but this is how it looks like from down below. I added a small flag there just to make it look a bit more nicer and have a bit of color, because everything is like really gray. Then I used the same kind of thing with the tuff and the stone bricks to give that feeling of a bit of a shade. I added 4 stone cutters here, so this is going to be part of the working area that they're going to be using. I added a kind of cauldron of water. Let's say I didn't want to use actual cauldrons because I don't want them to claim any other jobs by mistake or anything like that. We all know that villagers are kind of weird like that. Then I made a bit of a staircase here. They can kind of walk around. We might see them going up and down here. Maybe I can actually put one of those stone cutters up here. Maybe that would be an interesting idea, but I think they would be able to climb over, so that's probably not a good idea. Yeah, maybe we don't put that there. I don't want them to jump over and fall off and then die for absolutely no reason because they push each other off. So yeah, this is kind of the first building, and I really like how it looks like. It's kind of small, but it fits the vibe of the area. So all I have to do is kind of add a few finishing touches around here. Maybe I'm gonna add some kind of boulders around here that they're using to cut with the stone cutters. Add maybe a bit of a storage thing where they keep the stone, the refined stone. Maybe I'm gonna add that over here. I can use some trapdoors and add some stone inside. I think that's gonna be really interesting to have. And then maybe I'm gonna add some kind of greenery around here. I'm not sure about that yet. And maybe over here I'm gonna add a mine kind of thing. This is where they would come to mine the stone and, you know, get all the resources that they need to do their stone cutting. I feel like it would be a nice addition because right now this area is kind of bland and empty. And this is what I kind of had in mind. Added this small kind of trench here, so this is where they're getting the stone. Kind of walk around here. They didn't really bother to add any stone. They just like walk through the dirt. They put up the stone over here that they're digging from there. See, some of them actually chipped away at the whole pile. And then the whole processed stone comes from here, gets put into this pile over here, and then it's probably getting shipped somewhere at the next village where they can use it a bit better. I still want to get some kind of mini blocks and then add a few more over here, a few more on that. Definitely want to add a few more around this hole just because at the moment it looks kind of bland and straight, but with using a few mini blocks I think I can make it look like someone is actually digging rather than just having like a plain straight hole over here. And yeah, I want to add a few more small details around here. I'm not too sure yet, so I'm gonna have to play with it a bit more. The more I kind of play into the world, the more ideas I kind of come up with. So nothing needs to be fully finished. I can always come back and finish it up. But if you guys do have any ideas or anything that I could add through the village, just let me know down in the comments and I will definitely have a look. I also added a bit of texture over here on the stairs. I didn't add much. Maybe I can add a bit of cobblestone over here just to kind of make it look a bit more interesting. But I didn't want to add too much because I didn't want it to be too noisy. The more they use it, the more the stone cracks, so you can actually see it that the stone is being used and it's not just there for show, right? And now with the upstairs area being relatively complete and ready to receive some villagers, I think it's time to start building the big building over here, right? Because this is going to be the main area where the villagers are going to hang out and work, according to the lore anyway. So I'm going to have to design this. It's probably going to be somewhere from there, somewhere like up to here. It's going to be something similar to that, probably like a small kind of house and then a side where the working area is. I'm thinking kind of something like that. I haven't designed anything in creative because I just want to learn how to build a bit more. So we'll see how this one turns out. While I'm going to be building this, I actually brought a villager over just to see if he would walk from all the way here to all the way up there where he needs to go. So we're gonna have to see if he's gonna be able to track the stonecutters first and probably the bell after. But the idea is that I want to see if he's gonna go from the bell all the way down here. So I think I'm going to remove those stonecutters from there for the time being to see if he can see all the way up there. And now that I'm actually thinking about this, instead of having the stonecutters down below, I probably will line them up over there. And then this building is going to be their sleeping area. So like that, there's a bigger chance for them to track from all the way up there to the beds and then go back and then go over to the bell. So I think that's probably a better idea than having both of the buildings having stonecutters around. So I'm gonna go put down a bed over here and then put the stonecutters up there. And then we're gonna see if he's actually gonna walk around. Looks like he is indeed trying to go up the stairs, but he looks rather stuck here, so I'm not sure if he's actually tracking those. But we're gonna wait and see. Maybe the AI will kick in, go there, and then he's gonna go back and forth like I wanted him to. Oh, here we go. He's actually going upstairs. Maybe he's gonna get a job finally. Yeah, there we go. So now the next thing, the night is upon us, so let's wait to see if he's actually going to claim that bed. What are you trading over here? Clay and emeralds for bricks. Alright, we're gonna see exactly what kind of trades we want on them. I'm mostly after the terracotta trades, to be honest, so until we get there I don't think I care much about anything else. I've been watching him for a while, and it doesn't look like he wants to sleep in this bed. I wonder if he has a claim bed over at the other village. So I need to remove all those beds for him to claim this new one. So I'm gonna go try that because it's nighttime and then come back to see if he is actually interested in this one. So I broke all the beds over to the other village. Nighttime is almost over and he's definitely still not interested in the bed and he keeps hanging around in this area. Don't really know what he's actually trying to go for. There's definitely nothing here. But anyway, I'm just gonna let him be. I'll probably bring one more, add a few more beds, let them breed around here. I think I want to have like maybe 10, 15 around this village. So they're gonna slowly breed by themselves. I'm not gonna bother them. I think I'm probably gonna have to go get some food. But other than that, it should be easy enough. So maybe once there are a few more, maybe they're gonna start claiming beds. I'm really not sure what they changed on the bed mechanics. There's a lot of things that I don't know about villagers, and this is definitely one of them. And we have victory. It finally happened. And one of them actually went over to the bell. I lowered it just slightly because I don't know if it needs to be on their like eye level kind of thing. But yes, they both went to sleep and one of them actually went over to the bell. So I think it's looking pretty promising. I added 3 beds over here. Then I gave them, I think, about 4 or 5 stacks of potatoes. So I think that should be plenty to get this village going. Also, look at their noses. They're snoring. I just slept the night away and it looks like we're having some hearts. And yes, we have the first baby villager. So all I have to do now is increase the number of beds and we should have all the villagers that we need. Are there any trades? I think the next trade is like stone or something like that. So like I said, I don't care as much until we hit the terracotta. And maybe it would be nice to get the granite and the andesite as well. So we'll see how I want to treat these villagers over here depending on what kind of trades they have. And with that, the house is finally complete. It took me about 2 streams and a couple of days to actually get this done properly, and I feel like I'm actually finally happy with how it turned out. Look what I did here. So I have all these villagers. Instead of going on the staircase that I made for them, they decided that no, they want to instead gather over here and try to go up this mountain. So I made them a path, thinking that, you know, maybe it's gonna look nice, but I didn't really like it. So then I made this all too tall so they can't actually climb over it. And now they're still gathering here. So I guess this is kind of that desire path that we keep hearing about. So I guess I'm just gonna have to let it happen. And look, they even lost their professions because they literally don't want to walk on the staircase that I made for them. And they decide to just walk through here. And then again, hold on, maybe if instead of having this, I block it, maybe they're gonna start walking where I want them to. I don't know, I'm gonna keep an eye on it anyway. So yeah, let's get back to the house, right? So I added a good few details over here, I feel like. I didn't feel like the stone alone just works. So I added some stone bricks in between to add a bit of texture. I feel like that really changed how the house looks like. Then I added the tough bricks and the polished stuff, I think this is. Yes. To the corners, then some trapdoors and some signs to kind of give it a bit more structure. Around the windows, I added some trapdoors just so it looks like some of them are open, some of them are closed. Then I added some windows. They're all kind of different windows. This one is like this. I added a bush here, well, a tree. Then this one is like that, that actually reaches on the floor. I added a flower. These 3 are all the exact same kind of design, nothing too special. Then up here again, I have all these trapdoors. And then this one is kind of the one that's a bit more complex, and I added some berry bushes just to add a bit of color. There's a lot of cats that I keep hearing around here, which is in a way good because it scares off the creepers. Then inside, I made kind of a tough pattern for the floor, which I kind of like, to be honest. It looks kind of nice. I don't know what's about it, but I really do. Then I added this tough staircase, and then up here I just used some polished stuff and some smooth stone slabs to kind of give it a bit of variation on the floor. And then I added all the beds. I added these beds and these beds under the staircase. I think there's about 15 in total, if I'm not mistaken. And then the roof, I decided to make it a bit more interesting rather than just the basic shape that I always do. So I added a bit of texture over here. Maybe I need to add a bit more because the stone is kind of overpowering. But I added this spruce kind of trim. Then I added this fence posts over here. This kind of sticks out a bit. Added the trapdoor over here just so the mobs can spawn. And that's about it. I really like this railing that's made out of the fence gates. It really kind of adds a bit to the building. I feel like it's really nice. It's one of my nicest builds, and I'm actually really glad that I didn't copy it from anywhere online. I just kind of designed it myself. It was basically a cube to start with. I added the roof, I took it down, I didn't like it, and then I made this one. So if you guys want to see like a bit more of how I designed this whole thing and what else I built around here, you can just have a look over on my channel. All the VODs are over on the YouTube channel. I stream here, I stream on Twitch. So if you guys want to catch any live stream, follow me there. Subscribe over on YouTube, you're gonna find me in both places. And yeah, for the path, I kind of stuck to the same kind of theme with the stone. I added a few droppers over here. It kind of adds a bit more detail onto it and it makes it look a bit nicer, right? Like, I don't know why, but I just really like the way it looks like. So then you go up the stairs. I added all the stone cutters over here. I added a few mini blocks over here. I feel like the mini blocks really make this pop. And then I added a few over here, like they're taking them out of the mine. See, they're still digging those stones out of there. And then they're putting them up here, transporting them here. They don't really have a path. They just like kind of walk through the grass. Well, through the mud, dirt, whatever you want to call this, even though it's grass blocks. Then it gets put here. I added 2 stone cutters. They kind of, you know, take it off from here, use the stone cutter, move it along, put it here where it's like all nice and prepared. And then, yeah, that's pretty much around here. I think all this I've already shown. And then over the bridge, you can see that all of them are actually gathering over here at the bell, which is really nice to see. So the idea of the whole village being alive the way I wanted it to, it's actually working. Obviously, I'm gonna have to add a few more bits around here because it looks really bare and there's nothing else happening except the house down there. So I'm probably going to make some trees, maybe try to search online what kind of things stonecutters have around their like workshops and stuff. So maybe I'll make something like that there. Maybe I'll make some kind of wood pile because they do use wood, if you really think about it, to make like handles for their tools and all these kind of things. I feel like that would be a really nice addition. And then I want to add a few bits here. Maybe I'll add like a trim around the path just so it doesn't look like it's so bare over here. It looks kind of bland that it just blends in with the surroundings. There's no like depth or anything like that. Oh, it looks like the horde. The horde is going. Look at them. Look at them all in a nice single line, going back to their house. Are they gonna use the path? Looks like they are. Anyone left over there? There's one guy that just stays there for absolutely no reason. But it does look like all of them are using the staircase down. So maybe the fact that I closed this off, that I closed the gate, they don't see this as a pathfinding thing anymore. So maybe they're gonna be taking the stairs up the next day. So some of them, I don't know, the AI is really weird, so they still kind of stick around. And I really don't know what the problem is with this guy. Let's try and see if I can make him come over here. I wonder if there's like too many villagers at the house or something. And then he thinks that he doesn't have space in the beds. Oh yes. Hard life being a villager, right? Come on. Okay, he doesn't want to. I'm not gonna bother too much. If he doesn't want to go, he doesn't want to go, so he's just gonna get stuck over here. Maybe he's gonna start moving at one point because all of the other ones kind of took a while for them to move. So let's go sleep now and see if they're gonna use the stairs to go back up. Okay, everyone is awake. Everyone is going out from the house. They do really like to climb around the hills that are around here, and sometimes they just run away from a zombie and then they just spawn a random iron golem, which is not a bad thing. At least they're getting protected in case anything happens. But from hanging around for a good while around here, it doesn't look like any of the mobs can get in, and it doesn't look like any of the villagers can get out, which is a really, really good thing. So now they're kind of talking, so any second, I think when the sun kind of gets around there, they're gonna start walking towards the top. So hopefully that's still the case. And here we go, we are moving. It looks like they are going somewhere, but by the looks of it, they're still gathering over here. Some of them are taking the stairs, which is a really good thing, but some of them still decide that this is just better. Why don't you just want to go up there through the staircase that I specifically made for you? And they're just sighing at me. But I guess they're just breathing. What if I would make this retail? Would they still think it's possible? Yeah, so it looks like they lost their profession again. So I think that unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to allow this. And I think I'm just gonna do exactly what I didn't want to do, unfortunately. And just let them kind of walk around where they want. So you saw that some of them actually do go on the stairs, but some of them just refuse to. So I think I'm just gonna do exactly what I did. So obviously now they're gonna climb up here. So I'm gonna open the gate for them. They should be going up then. If they if the llama would actually not be in their way. And then I'm gonna do the exact thing that I did earlier. This is kind of the path that they made just because they didn't want to use the staircase. These are kind of the lazy villagers, let's call them, that they're, instead of going through here, you know, you go through here. You know how you go into parks and there's like a 90-degree turn like this one is, and then they just decide, oh no, I'm just gonna go here through the mud instead of taking the stairs. So I guess this is kind of what the villagers kind of do around here. So good thing that they added their own gate over here, obviously. But yeah, all of them seem to kind of gotten their professions back. So I'm gonna have to trade with them, because right now I didn't trade with any of them. So maybe once I trade with them, they're gonna try to like restock, because right now I don't know how it works, because if they're not locked in, maybe they just think that they can do something else. So maybe once I actually lock them in, then I can close the gate, raise that again, and see if they're actually going to take the stairs. So I'm gonna need to gather a good few emeralds. Maybe I'm gonna go mine some clay balls just to kind of make it a bit quicker, and then we'll see how that goes. So I think I'm fairly happy with how this episode turned out so far. I think we got a good bit done over here. I'm gonna work to finish up the village in between episodes. And as always, thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate all your support. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and share your thoughts below. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Until next time, happy crafting!